All right, guys, I would just like to quickly say that the intro to this episode is not exactly what I had in mind, especially after I re-listened to it. It's not as funny as I thought. I just want to let you all know that the joke I make initially is due to the fact that we had a conversation very shortly before the podcast in which we were making fun of someone that Tracey knew who made some really poor life choices, and so that was still in my mind. It was not just
the joke. The joke doesn't represent our actual views on the subject.
Yes. So, and you'll know exactly what it is very quickly. But yes, that's not me. Thank you.
Password?
Careful what you wish for.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, wait, thank you.
By the cheap shit again. It tastes like this. Oh, look at these two fucking ass clowns walking in like they own the place.
Doing a show here.
Goddamn millennials. Welcome to the Yancy St Speakeasy, episode number 16.
Yeah.
I'm Max.
And I'm Tracey, and 16 is divisible by 4.
Yes, it's also the sexiest age.
Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? No. Dear listeners, the Yancy St Speakeasy will now be produced and performed only by Tracey. Max is not allowed to talk into this microphone anymore.
Well, I can, they allow me to do it once every 2 months from prison.
Yeah, it's like when we were saying that. So I had a friend. Oh God, I had a friend.
A special friend.
Shut up. Shut your mouth, Mr. 16. I'm like, it's divisible by 4. I'm just like, I fucked a 16-year-old.
I did not say that. Not even close.
It was implied.
No, it was not.
I'm sorry.
No.
No. All right, we're gonna just.
I didn't say that. It's not true.
Before we move off that horrendous subject, I will say
before we move on and forget about the messed up stuff, we're going to talk about it for a while. The terrible thing that
Max said. My name's Tracey. This is Max. Max was the one that said that the bad thing. I had a friend. Oh God, I had a friend in high school who he was always just looking for love in all the wrong places, and he came.
God. You know this was inspired by our earlier conversation, right?
It was.
I don't take that the wrong way, listeners.
No.
I just want you to understand that
it was a conversation.
We were laughing about somebody else.
Yeah, we were laughing about somebody else. Somebody that made some poor life decisions. Anyway, speaking of poor life decisions, yeah, I had a friend growing up. And he was, like I said, always looking for love all the wrong places. He came and talked to me at lunch one day in the cafeteria. We were both I think we were both seniors in high school. He was always a bit older than the rest of us. He was 18 at the time, and he was like, I met a girl, and I'm like, oh, really? That's awesome. Like, who is she? Do I know her? And he's like, yeah, she goes to this school. I'm like, oh my God. Like, at that time, I went to such a tiny school. And I'm like, oh, I probably know the person. Oh, the possibilities are endless. And he told me her name, and I didn't recognize her name. And I'm like, you sure she goes here? And I was like, I feel like I recognize. He's like, yeah, she's in the 7th grade. She's 13, but, she just, gets me on such a personal... And I'm like, dude... You're 18. I'm pretty sure that's illegal, isn't it? And he was like, yeah, man, but age is just a number. And I look at him, I'm just like, yeah, jail is just a room
with bars and other men who like 18-year-olds.
Oh God.
And some who like 13-year-olds.
God, no. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean that's the appropriate place for those people to inhabit. Anyway. How are all of you?
Hi.
Yeah. It's solid.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you guys are okay. We're fantastic.
We're doing well.
We are doing well.
Yeah.
Superman does good. We're doing well.
Yes, that's correct.
We did a lot of art today. We did a lot of bar hopping today. We went to 2 bars.
Yeah.
I went to 2 bars. You worked at one bar and then went to another one. I went to 2 bars. I went to go visit him. I went to go visit Max at his job at the down here in Key West, and we talked about, we did like some storyboarding for the comic.
Mostly I talked, and he asked me questions and then didn't listen to the answer while he drew.
I was on a level. I was listening. It's just when I start drawing things, I zone out.
He was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not listening right now. I'm drawing a circle." That was very close to his
exactly
to a quote.
That's actually exactly what happened. I'm using, like I said, I'm new to the digital medium, and I'm using Procreate on his iPad. Procreate, send us money. And Apple send us money, actually. They probably have way more money than Procreate, whoever made Procreate does.
Yeah, but Apple also has a lot of quality people to choose from to give money to.
Yeah, they probably have a lot of lawyers.
We're low on that list.
Very low on the totem pole. Although we did pass 300 downloads.
Yeah.
And I've...
Per minute, and
I've... Yes. And
Yep.
that's... I don't know about Max, but I officially have a big head.
If you've listened to this podcast before, you know that I've had a big head for a long time.
I'm excited, dude. It's really nice to have like that sort of... we might have mentioned it already, but it's just nice to have like those tangible numbers. Be like, yo, I have over 300 downloads. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Kira's going nuts.
She's
so hyper.
Yeah. Well, this has been one of the rainiest summers that I've ever experienced, and she's loath to go outside.
Yeah.
We open the door and she just looks outside.
Yeah. She does. Although I found out today, like, because I'm often left at his... she is hopping all over the place. Kira! I found out today that, like, she's actually trained.
Oh my god.
She's actually trained. She, like, won't go outside unless somebody pets her first. It's, like, really cute. She, like, you have
It wasn't intentional. It was just, like, my wife and I, we when she goes to the door and she meows and then she waits. And then we go to the door and then we'd pet her and be like, okay, you're going to leave for, possibly as long as 8 hours. Sometimes she likes to travel.
She likes to roam.
And so we'd pet her, and now if you open the door, she won't go unless you pet her.
Yeah, you gotta say goodbye to her. That's really cute. Like, I didn't notice, like, the one I'll hold open the door for her, and she'll just stare outside, and then look back at me and be like, meh, and I'm like, it's out. The door's open. Go. And she just looks at me, and I just, like, scratch her head, and she's like, okay, and she takes off, and I'm like, that's really cute. I didn't know that you guys actually trained her for that.
She's a
princess.
She's a unique kitty cat.
Because she's a fucking princess. She's royalty.
She's looking at me with princess eyes right now.
They're bright. She's a Himalayan, so they're like the baby blue. She like never lost her kitten eyes.
Baby blue on a fluffy white background.
She's so fucking cute. Although she came in this morning and she was covered in garbage.
Yeah, she's trying to rub on me, and I was like, "Get away from me, you disgusting animal!"
She was covered in. She had like dirt and leaves all over her.
She's soaking wet.
So I like piled. We have like a white chair in the apartment, and I piled pillows on it so she couldn't rub all her grossness on it. But we didn't wash her. She looks good now.
No, she takes care of herself.
She does. She's well fed and she's well groomed. But that's all. She maintains herself pretty much. But yeah, thanks to all you listeners that put us over 300 downloads.
Thanks for listening to us talk about cats.
The cats and other things. Cats and movies. 90% of our movies. 90%.
Well, I liked this film and I didn't like this film. I like cats.
That is a synopsis of this entire podcasting experience. It was like, this movie was good. This movie wasn't good. There's a cat. Get me beer.
Yes. Or a sparkling bitch seltzer with alcohol.
Really? I take offense to that because I picked this one out.
I'm drinking it.
Yeah, so eat a dick. I'm comfortable with my masculinity.
I'm touchy about mine.
I don't give a shit. I mean, like I've been like trying to watch what I eat. I haven't been as active as I usually am because I've had a lot of work.
Because I have him change my couch and I force him to draw art.
Yeah. Yes. Also, I do that electively. I love drawing. Is one of the few things that I can just lose myself. I can 4 hours can easily pass me in the blink of an eye when I'm drawing, and then I'll be like, oh, I forgot to eat today, as I did today. I made us French toast for breakfast, and that was at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And then I ate it and I was like, thanks for the toast, bitch. And then I went to work.
That's exactly how it went. And then I got really involved in drawing Iron Fist because I'm trying to draw one of each of the the Defenders from the Marvel Netflix series. And that took me about 3 hours to do, and I lost those 3 hours. And then all of a sudden I looked up, and it was 6 p.m., and I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot to eat lunch. I'm good at taking care of myself. I am a successful human.
Yep.
Then I said
big boy.
I'm a big boy. I told this to Max earlier in the night. I'm like, I have two states of being when it comes to food. I'm either eating constantly, or I'm just like, oh shit, I forgot to eat today. No, there's no middle ground.
No middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
No.
There's rarely a day where I can actually like look back on a day and be like,
that was 3 meals of quality food.
oh, that was 3. I had 3 square. I woke up at an early hour. Yeah. Or I like try to cram 3 square meals into like a 3-hour period. And I'm like, this is an egg. This is a club sandwich. Oh, is that pizza? Fuck yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's 10 a.m. Good.
Or
ready for round 2.
Just a liquid diet of wake
of
Orange
alcoholic bitch seltzer.
Bitch seltzer. Thank you. You know what? You can do the grocery shopping from now on. God, we argue like a fucking married couple.
Oh my god, we need to maybe clarify a few things for some people. Because you literally did say the other day on podcast, yeah, we fuck. And then
we do! I don't know why you're so touchy about it.
Jesus Christ. And then I thought it was hilarious when you said it on podcast, and then when I re-listened to it later, when we were editing it, of course I left it in, but I was like, man, that sounded kind of like honest, and it's I am married with a child on the way to a woman,
and I am mostly straight. How's your kid? how's your wife?
They're mostly straight too. Good.
Yeah,
thanks for asking.
Oh, that's good. And he's having. It's a boy. Have we said that on the podcast yet?
I don't know.
It's a boy.
I think we did. I think I made a joke that I was gonna force feed him all of my Star Wars and comic book passions, and if he likes sports, I'm not gonna allow him to. I'm gonna be like the opposite. I'm opposite.
Oh, we did make that. Okay, we did mention it. I'm glad. As you can tell, this was a very spur of the moment podcast. We were feeling silly.
I made a joke, and Tracy thought it was funny, and then he made a joke, and I thought it was funny. And we were like, we are so on point.
Why are we not recording this?
This is epic.
This is gold.
Yep.
This is epic.
Yeah, so obviously it needed to be recorded for the ages.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really bizarre to think that the last probably 6 months of my life are pretty well documented in this podcast.
Yeah, almost maybe too well documented.
Yeah, almost.
It's not 6 months. I think that's too much.
I mean, like the things that we've talked about have spanned like pretty much our entire existence.
Okay, so we've had our podcasts on air for about 2 months now.
Yeah, but we started recording before that.
Yeah, we started recording before...
a month and a half before we actually released it.
Yeah, so, we're getting there. We're ticking closer to that 6 month mark.
Yeah. It was we started recording them, but our schedules were bananas at the time, so we had to force ourselves to find time to actually record, and that was back in the day when I'd only spent like maybe an hour or two in your apartment max.
That was back in the day when my wife was in the country.
Yes.
And I wasn't able to live like a degenerate child.
Yeah.
And speaking of, my wife will be back in about a week.
Yes.
So my degenerate childlike behavior will be limited to a few hours per week.
And I will be taking a quick hiatus up to Pennsylvania to see my family because my sister just graduated undergrad and my dad is retiring.
Well, good for her.
Yeah?
I'm jealous because I didn't graduate.
I'm very proud of her. She's a swell gal. My sister. I would love to have her as a guest on the podcast at some point. I really want her to come down to Key West. She's never been to the Keys. She came and visited me in Miami for a little while I was still going to school there. And I'm sure you guys are super interested in my family.
Yeah. About as interested as I am.
Get out of my apartment.
But yeah, so but you know, when he says hiatus, we'll go on hiatus from recording, but
oh yeah,
you listeners will not be on hiatus.
Oh yeah, you won't be able to tell the difference.
We're gonna backlog some episodes,
yeah,
which I will release because I do all the work.
He does. He does. In terms of the computer stuff, like pretty much the only thing I know how to do is like I draw on the iPad. That's me. And then he's over here. Is like I have to merge these formats and then upload them to this so I can upload them to this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I say lots of words to confuse Tracy to make him feel like I'm doing a lot of work.
He does, and it works because I are confused. I binged the first 3 God of War games, so that was fun. Played God of War 2 and God of War 3.
He told me about them each along the way, and I kind of like looked at my phone and nodded.
He saw like bits and pieces of all 3.
I saw more breasts on that game than I've seen in the 2 months that my wife has been gone. That is for damn sure.
So here's the thing. I love God of War 1, 2, and 3. I love them because the gameplay, the fighting, the game mechanics, in terms of gameplay, really solid. Like the gameplay is super addicting. The fighting, the executions, the puzzle solving, really well done. Just all around amazing set pieces, art directions, out of this world. Other than that, content, tits and blood, fucking tits and blood.
I went to work and I came home and I saw digitally created tits and blood.
Yeah.
And then I went to work and then I came home and I saw digitally created tits and blood.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with tits and blood. It's just
well,
it's a tad bit excessive in that game.
Yeah.
And it's not like I have to hand in my man card for this.
It's not something that and speaking as someone who didn't play the game all the way through, it was not what I'd call the most artistic portrayal.
No.
It wasn't like, look at this beautiful woman and this is
for sure.
And this blood is a representative of the despicableness of war. It was like blood and tits.
It's blood and tits. It's like, hey, you just got done murdering a bunch of randos. Wanna fuck? Like this whole scene where he just like shows up in Aphrodite's chamber and she's like, will you have sex with me? And there's a fucking like sex mini game and it's like it doesn't show anything. It just shows one of Aphrodite's, I don't know, like
other female concubines.
Yeah, just like
it's
in
really,
the corner reacting to whatever's happening.
And there's just tits everywhere. There's thongs everywhere. It's just like it's really pandering to
sometimes
a really specific demographic.
Sometimes the tits aren't very pretty. Like sometimes like Gorgonians, like the like Medusas.
Well, and also the
thing
is
the monsters will show up and they have tits and they're like, but the monsters themselves are very.
But it still is just pandering to the same demographic, and again, all the female characters that I saw were very much in that like Rob Liefeld style of woman. Like if you were to compare 1,000 women to that specific body type, maybe 2 of them would ever actually look anything close to it. It's just unrealistic.
Oh, it's definitely these games are definitely from a different era. Man, the PC culture hit hard and it hit fast, and it's just it's wild to think about what was popular and socially acceptable even like 8 or 10 years ago.
It's true. It's true. And I remember it all too well. But
and I used to be like, fuck yeah, and all that stuff. And then I was like, and then people were like, how about looking at it this way? And I was like, oh yeah, that's not cool.
Because Tracy's easily suggestible. That's how I roped him into all of this bullshit that I do.
Yep. I don't think for myself. I don't support strong women or people like standing up for themselves or being respecting other cultures and other genders. It's literally just because that damn liberal.
Tracy, you know what? You should respect people who think for themselves and other cultures.
Oh, I should.
Yep.
Man, liberal media really got to me.
See how easy it is?
Yeah, it really is. Man. Somebody told me the other day that we should start selling cornballers. I'm watching too much Arrested Development.
No such thing.
When I do my art, I put on Netflix shows that I've already seen.
It helps remind us not to take ourselves too seriously.
Although season 5 of Arrested Development's up, we should definitely watch that.
Oh God! I need to go change my pants.
He does. Big ol' splooge stain.
I meant I pooped myself. I don't know. That splooge stain was there before. That's been there for hours.
Definitely wasn't from me. So anyway, I literally the only reason I played through the God of War games because I'm OCD about playing. If it's a franchise or if it's a series, like I make myself play the first ones through. Like I want to if there's a story there. Although I hear that the new God of War is a complete departure from Kratos as a character. Like it's you don't have to play any of the other games to jump right at this. I know friends that this was their first ever God of War game and they just kind of hopped into it not knowing anything about it, and it's very and this new one is very it's a God of War for a modern age. It's really well written. It's the relationships are very accurate. It's gorgeous. It's well developed.
I think Norse mythology is very in right now.
It is for sure. Yeah, we were talking about this. Like Norse mythology is definitely in the public eye right now. With Marvel's out there and everything. There's that new. Have you read the book or seen the series American Gods?
No, but it's been strongly suggested to me. I'm familiar with it.
Really good. Neil Gaiman is a fucking genius. The book is amazing. I read the book. American Gods is a modern masterpiece, and I watched the first episode of the show. I think it's on Stars, and
with the Z.
Yes, thank you. It took me a second to realize what you said. And it's not like the book at all, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's a different take on it, and they still did a really great job with it, and there are some scenes in that show that will, like, you will never be able to unsee. Very, very interesting. There's some very cool, very interesting, very different artistic direction in that show.
Cool. I'm excited to check it out.
We should watch it. I bought it for my dad as a Father's Day present because...
Had you watched it previously?
I hadn't watched the show, but we'd both read the book.
Okay. Oh, you both read the book.
We both read the book, and so we were both like, "Oh my god, they're turning into a TV series." And
I was gonna say it's pretty brave to buy something that you like are not familiar with. Be like, yeah, I get it as a gift. So good.
We both read the book, and then we watched the first. I bought it for him on Blu-ray, and then we were like, "All right, Dad, let's go watch it." So it was kind of selfish because it was kind of a present for me. So I'm that guy. But I also got him a bunch of other cool stuff. I got him. He's a big fan of the 60s 70s psych rock band Yes, and so I bought him a Yes shirt, and I got him a beer glass that says "I drink and I know things," which I also have one for myself. That was a separate order from Game of Thrones. It's a Peter Dinklage Tyrion Lannister quote.
I'm very familiar with this glass.
He is. He said to clean it many times. All the different liquids I put in it. Not all of them are beer.
Nope.
Some of them are orange juice. And that's it.
Or cran cherry.
Cran cherry. Oh, dude, cran cherry juice is the best. Oh my god. Any derivation of cranberry juice.
Sometimes it's bitch seltzer too.
Fuck off. Although we do have cranberry flavored bitch seltzer. So calling you bitch.
Thank you for calling it bitch seltzer.
It's bitch seltzer. Whatever. I'm just gonna pander.
Hey Tracy, when you go to the store tomorrow to buy all the groceries,
yeah,
can you buy some more bitch seltzer?
Yeah. Okay. But you can't make fun of me for it because you enjoy it. So.
I don't know about that.
I hope our adoring fans are enjoying this.
Hey bitch seltzer. Pay us money for talking about your bitch seltzer.
It's spiked seltzer. I hope our fans are enjoying this probably too intimate look into our personal lives. Welcome to Brain Dump episode 3. We don't talk about anything particular, just whatever happens to be.
Well, you were talking about God of War until you got easily distracted. Good job.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Shut up. You're so fucking knowledgeable. You should have known I would have got distracted sooner. If anything, this is your fault because you know my proclivity for my what are we talking about? Yeah, God of War is very good gameplay wise, story wise. Kratos is a very so it's like he's got some complexity to him.
Here's the thing, guys. I can't get into the character because his pecs aren't big enough for me.
His moobs are amazing. I love his moobs. Get some solid.
He just looks a little bit thin. No, he just needs to hit the bench a little bit harder. Max out maybe an extra time per week, and then I'll play as that character.
You could put like a serving tray on those pecs, like they're so far out.
As he's standing up.
And when he's standing up, you could put a fucking serving tray on them. It's like so there's some complexity to the character because he's got a cool backstory. He's a bloodthirsty Spartan that was killed by barbarians, and he exalted Ares to bring him back from the dead, and then Ares filled him with so much rage and lust for war that he ended up murdering his own family, and then he covered his skin with the ashes of their burnt corpses, and that's why he's all painted white.
When Tracy told me this backstory, I was like, hey man, this is a pretty clear-cut, careful what you wish for kind of situation.
Yeah,
you know what
for
I mean?
real. Like, he's not as sympathetic as like they want him to be. He's Mr. Angry Man.
And that's why it caters to like 15-year-old kids who get their parents to buy them games.
I'm so mad. I want to see tits and blood. His character is Mr. Angryman. He's Angryman, and he's angry, and he wants revenge, and he's angry, and he wants revenge, and those are his motivations. And sometimes, so they're like some tender moments.
He's also very brutal towards animals. I think we need to talk to the SPCA about that.
His execution moves towards like dog-like creatures in that game. He just like grabs them and he punts them, and you hear the "oink" of like the poor dog.
And he grabs them by top and bottom of the jaw. Sometimes he like rips the jaws apart. Sometimes he just holds them and punches the top of their face off.
So here's the thing. There are character moments that I realized that the game developers were supposed to they're trying to implement some sort of character development. At the end of the first game, there is actually a very a weirdly tender boss fight where you're trying to kill Ares. Shut your face for a second. I'm explaining a thing. Where there's this weirdly tender boss fight where he's fighting Ares, and Ares like disarms him, and then he touches, he like grabs Kratos' face, and he like forces him into his own mind, and in his mind, he's like this section in his mind where he has to fight off the demon hordes, while protecting his family. So like his wife and his daughter in the background, and all of the demons are like running after them, and he has to fight them off to protect them. And there's actually a game mechanic where you can run over to your family, you press a button and you hug them, and it gives your life force to theirs. So if their life starts dwindling, you actually give them a part of your health bar to improve their chances of survival.
Right. Well, maybe he should have done that in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's exactly. But it's like that. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Like you have those weird things at the end of God of War 3. Zeus does the same thing. Zeus grabs him by the face and he's like, "I'm gonna make you relive your worst memories forever." And then he gets swallowed by darkness, and he's like swimming through this black lake.
Is it just me, or does this same fly just surround us every time we podcast?
So annoying. I'm trying to talk about something very important, and he just wants to fly in front of my face. Kind of like you. I'm sorry. Yeah, the same thing happens in God of War 3, where he's like swimming through a black lake, reliving his worst memories, and he's like, and the game like Pandora tells him like, you need to, like, the only way for you to get out of this is for others to forgive you, you need to forgive yourself. And hope is your true power and stuff like that. And it's like, what a really nice sentiment in an incredibly gory, bloodthirsty, violence worshipping game.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Yeah. It's like, I get what you're trying to do. Like, I get you trying to bring it back to a point, but 15 hours of gameplay have told me otherwise. Having the 5-minute like mini game where you're having sex with Aphrodite really didn't help you.
But it's about hope.
Hoping that you can have sex with a god. So.
Yep.
Okay,
so let's talk about the Marvel Netflix series, which...
Sure.
So recently we talked about Iron Fist.
I have finished.
He made it through.
I endured Iron Fist. We talked about, but I think the last time we talked about it, I was maybe 6 episodes in.
Yeah, about halfway.
I watched the 7 that remained. It was. I honestly, my Instagram is Viva La France with a 3 at the end. Viva La Frank. Instead of an E, there's a 3. Send me your love and regards, friends, because the only reason that I watched all 13 episodes of that poorly written show was for you guys, so I could bitch about it later on the podcast, because that was an ordeal. Like I have never Like it's weird because every time I've watched a show that I didn't like, I've had the ability to be just like, you know what, nah. But I have people that I'm responsible for now that I feel a responsibility to bullshit with about things that I've seen, and so I made myself watch the rest of it.
That's going to be a recurring theme for the podcast, is making Tracey do unpleasant things so that he can tell you how unpleasant it was. Next up, eating dog poop. So, expect a nice little run through of what it's like to eat dog poop next week.
You know, I don't want to compare watching a mediocre television show to eating dog poop, because again, I respect that somebody obviously.
I'm all for it.
It wasn't
clearly.
It wasn't good. It was very okay. It was painful at points. It occasionally broke out into a little bit of awesome, but those moments were very few and far between. I think in a show called Iron Fist, I think the Iron Fist was referenced 50 billion times, but it was shown and used probably a grand total of 4 times.
Yeah, but I mean,
13 hours of television.
13 hours of television. We probably did actually see the Iron Fist, maybe 10 times, for probably a total of, like, this is not an exaggeration.
Used in
we probably saw the Iron Fist visibly on screen for a grand total of, like,
yeah,
probably
10 times. You're
10 times, but for a total of minute.
Oh,
minute
yeah.
to minute, probably under 1 minute.
Yeah, he just like it's just. It was shown probably 10 times, and it was utilized probably 4 times. Because exactly, like 6, like most of the times where it actually appeared on screen, it was just him brandishing it at the camera, or just him like moodily like, oh, my fist is back, or something like that, like holding it in front of his face. My chi, it's so bad, my chi. I don't know. It's just, how do you? He's such a cool. Danny Rand is an interesting character. He's such a likable character. How did you botch it that badly? Like,
forever tarnished.
I would have more sympathy for it if they didn't have such fantastic source material.
Yep.
And
that's the thing about comic book movies. That's what makes them even worse than they already are. It's that there's so much greatness that could be there.
That show is the reason I drink.
Yep.
Fuck, dude.
Which you never saw before.
It's now the reason I drink. I developed alcoholism because of the... No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, that's probably... Alcoholism is a disease. If you have it, please get help.
Don't watch Iron Fist. It'll only get worse.
It'll only get worse. It was bad. It was very lazy, mediocre television.
Well, it's I re-listened to our podcast the other day when we brought it up, and we were talking about something else, but again, the writing was similar, and it's kind of like everything that was the final draft, the final script for this show seems to have been...
I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry. That was gross. I have so much bitch water in my stomach.
Bitch seltzer.
Yeah, whatever.
Get it right.
I'm sorry.
I'm surprised you didn't... Alright, let me get back to my point.
What's your point? Tell me your fucking point.
There's no point.
There's no point to anything. Not after that show.
There's no point to life.
Yeah, right?
Iron Fist, you made me give up on life.
Oh, Jesus. That is a harsh review, my friend. I compared it to alcoholism. You've getting a little... This episode's getting a little dark.
I'm comparing it to intense depression and possible suicide.
We are edgy. that is our show. So anyway, tell me more about this hilarious cartoon character that got turned into a gritty reality television character.
Gritty is a generous word.
Gritty is a generous... He was a wimp. He was very wimpy the entire show. He was like...
He was super whiny.
He was the human equivalent of bitch seltzer. If Daredevil is a shot of bourbon, then he's like this spiked seltzer water.
Yeah, he's the wine cooler was too strong for him.
Actually, you know what? Jessica Jones' drink of choice is bourbon. Does Matt Murdock drink?
Oh, he partakes.
Do you think he imbibes?
I'm pretty sure.
He has libations.
Yeah. He's kind of a beer guy. Generally green bottled. I've noticed in that show
They always seem to
drink beer that's in green bottles. I don't know why. Maybe it pops on the screen.
You know, there's a thing that I heard about Heineken in a bottle. Heineken, give us money. Heineken in a bottle tastes different than Heineken in a can because the green allows certain wavelengths of light in, which causes different levels of oxidation with the hops and stuff like that. So Heineken tastes better canned than it does bottled. At least that's what people have told me. I've never actually had Heineken in a can. So this whole point was moot. Just wanted to speculate and spread rumors. Welcome to the Yancy St Speakeasy. We're a hotbed for fucking speculation. You were saying about Iron Fist?
It's bad. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. It's a really bad high five.
So our wet fish high five.
I was committed to that high five. You gave up.
It's how I feel right now.
You limp wristed it right at the end. How can I trust you to anyway? It was the whole show was mishandled. It didn't feel like the show was even about Danny. Not that he was a very strong character at all. Like he was, the actor that played him was definitely forgettable. The writing,
Jones.
I don't even remember. The writing for him was forgettable. 90% of the show was focused on the family that took the
Meachums.
That's right, the Meachum family, and they're barely
Oh my god, the scene where Harold Meachum comes back to life, crawling out of the swamp.
Yeah,
the writing is atrocious.
What a weird.
What does he say? He says, "Rand, I'm Rand, I'm Meachum."
Oh my god.
It's
me
fuck.
Human. You human. It's just bad.
Me Meachum. You Jane.
That show, with all of the weird Meachum subplots, because maybe not 90%, but a little over half of the show had to do with the shenanigans of the Meachum family, which were not interesting, have nothing to do with the overarching plot other than Harold was a member of the Hand and ended up being the big bad. But he was such a here and there wishy-washy character that I never felt any real animosity toward him until you're like, oh, he was the one that killed Danny's parents, but Danny had projected that blame onto 50,000 people at that point.
Yeah, everybody's responsible for the death of Danny Rand's parents.
Yep. Everyone except him and Colleen. The only part of that show that the romance between Colleen and Danny was weirdly sweet.
No, but you know what? Here's the thing. It's only because she was the only interesting character in the show.
Yes, because she was the only interesting character. She was her and Claire were the only things that gave that show.
She could have had a romance with a wall, and it would have been more interesting. But just because she was, Danny's romantic interest.
Bakudo. It was Ramon Rodriguez's character.
Yeah,
Bakudo. His character, like, see, like, that was the interesting thing. It was like
even he was not great.
No, he wasn't written well, but I feel like the concept of having different factions within the Hand could have been interesting if it had been written better, but no. No, it ended the whole show felt like it was just trying to rewrite its own character, it was trying to rewrite its own history.
The quality of writing was like, 3 p.m. airing CW level nonsense.
Yeah, like they'll like an entire episode. They're trying to change your worldview 5 times in one episode. They're like, the Hand's bad. JK, the Hand might be good. No, it's bad, but it's good, but it's bad. And it's like Colleen's like, no, it's okay. The Hand's good, and Danny's like, everything in it was a lie. I was brainwashed. No, you were brainwashed. No, I was brainwashed. We were all brainwashed. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who the good guy is. I don't know who to root for. I'm scared. I'm confused. And it
turns out at the end of the entire show, pretty much Danny Rand is the bad guy.
It felt like that.
It really did.
He had, I think I said this in the last podcast, he had one job, and he didn't do it the entire show.
Nope.
He was like, your job as the Iron Fist is to defend Kunlun.
He didn't do it.
I'm going to go to America because I miss my family. No, you're an immortal warrior who's supposed to protect us from...
If you wanted to go to America, don't become the Iron Fist.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, he couldn't really help. Well, he could help that.
No, he sought it. He did. Being the Iron Fist intensely.
I'm gonna kill a I'm gonna punch the hole through a dragon.
Yeah, he took a family honor away from his best friend to gain the title of Iron Fist. Only to immediately throw it away.
Only that show could make the concept of killing a fucking dragon boring.
Boring as hell.
And also non-existent.
Xiao Lao's appearance on screen consisted of Danny yelling into darkness and 2 red eyes. That's it.
That ended up, like, reshaping themselves into, like, landing strip lights. Because he was fighting Harold, and then, like, he impaled Harold on the thing, and then he was, like, stood there just like... And then he, like, looks up, and there are these 2 red lights above Harold. And he's like... And then, like, suddenly the red flickering landing strip lights turn in... I think it was a helicopter landing strip lights turn into the dragon's eyes.
It was actually Rafflecopter landing lights.
Rafflecopter. I'll land that Rafflecopter. You know what a more accurate description is? It felt like somebody who had an idea for, like, a CW style corporate drama got hired to write a superhero show and tried really, really hard to incorporate their corporate family drama into a superhero show, and then ended up being like, well, obviously my ideas are going to overshadow everything else.
Well, it kind of felt like a bad writer got hired on to write a pilot episode for a CW level corporate drama, and then that show didn't get picked up because it was bad, and then Netflix was like,
smush it in with Iron Fist.
Oh fuck, we forgot to hire somebody for Iron Fist. Who's available? And that guy's like, hey, I've been writing something actually, and they're like, do it.
It's
we're starting shooting tomorrow, so
here we go. That's really what it felt. I have never seen a show whose title is the name of a character in which the plot of the show has so little to do with the title character.
Yeah, it would be like if Daredevil's first season was all about Foggy Nelson, and he was a really bad lawyer.
I would love it. Can we just have a show called Foggy? It's just him trying to be a bad lawyer. I love Foggy.
I do too. I
didn't like him at first. Like I was like, he's not the best actor.
No, but he gets better.
He does, and
Iron Fist doesn't.
No, although
it gets worse.
In the Defenders, what's his name? Is Finn?
Finn Jones.
Finn Jones definitely took some acting lessons in between Iron Fist.
Well, it's all the writing is just so clearly better.
It's better. The plot's still a bit hazy, and
the plot's convoluted.
And the character beats are really really well done.
Yeah, they're on point.
I jumped immediately from Iron Fist into the Defenders. Iron Fist final ruling. I'm gonna give it about a 4 out of 10. Yeah, that's about all it deserves.
I'm gonna give it a 3, but I respect your 4.
Thank you. The Defenders was more like a 7 out of 10 for me. Like, it was good but not great, which is bummer.
I'll give it a 6 because there's so much good content out there that I feel like it's about 6.
That's true. I definitely was a bit starry-eyed for it because I love all the characters.
Man, you have no idea how hyped I was when I watched that show the day it aired. I watched that show. I was so ready for it. Yeah. And I really enjoyed a lot of things about it. It's just, as a whole, from start to finish, it gets about a 6. But I definitely really enjoyed a lot of specific moments.
I'm excited to see what the shows do when they get away from using the hand as the main antagonist.
Well, I actually really liked The Punisher.
I love The Punisher. Is the hand in The Punisher?
I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, I'm only like 3 episodes into The Punisher.
I'm going to spoil it for you. They're not even close to it. They have nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm kind of happy about... See, I like the hand in the comics. I don't really like the way the hand is handled and the hand is handled. I don't like it how they're handled in the Netflix shows. They come off as a little bit mystic and hokey in a very gritty show.
Yeah, they come off... Well, here's the thing. There's really no good character arcs for any of the villains.
That's true.
That's the thing about...
Madame Gao has, like, probably the most, but that's
that's really still generous.
It's very minimal at best.
I mean, the thing is, okay, Daredevil Season 1, the Kingpin was dope. Dope as hell.
He was awesome.
In Jessica Jones, the Purple Man.
Holy shit.
Was dope.
Oh my god.
So dope.
Two of my...
Daredevil Season 2.
The Punisher and the Kingpin.
The Kingpin was in it a little bit. The Punisher was dope.
Yes.
Even Elektra was pretty good, but the Hand was weak. None of the members of the Hand have any character arc at all. They're literally there to be mustache twirling, to use one of my favorite phrases.
I was just about to use that phrase. I was about to steal it.
They're there to be bad. And it's, why are they bad? Because they're bad.
I think...
Because they're an ancient evil ninja organization. But why did they organize? Because they're ancient ninjas that are evil.
Yeah, they are.
But why are they evil? Because they're ancient ninjas.
We should get royalties every time somebody uses the term mustache twirling villains, because I feel like you pretty much invented that phrase.
I definitely did not invent it. But I did invent the phrase shirt cocking mustache twirling.
It's a hell of a phrase.
It is. I'm doing it right now.
And this is just audio, so we can't prove anything. We're both shirt cocking it right now. As we will be when we go to court tomorrow.
I'm going to twirl my mustache like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I hope you guys listen to our Deadpool solo review, because, man, shirt cocking is my new favorite. Not only my new favorite phrase, but my new favorite pastime.
Agreed.
That's what when he leaves when Max leaves for work in the morning, and and I get to work here, I shirt cock it.
It's true. One time I forgot something and I came back in. Literally about 7 seconds after I walked out the door, his pants were already like on the other side of the room, and he was just balls naked on my couch.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. I mean, what did you expect, dude? I mean, come on. I'm alone in the apartment with 3 cats. I'm not gonna not shirt cock it. It's convenient and like you just.
I've already ordered a new couch.
I need a. Just need a breeze, man. Get that breeze between the knees. Anyway,
where were we?
Defenders. I don't know, something. We were talking about Marvel. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the Hand. They're just boring.
Yeah,
and so then Luke Cage actually has a slew of good villains, and there's 3 really solid villains in Luke Cage, and then they're like, "Oh, you love all 3 of these really well-written villains? Here's a 4th one that sucks."
Fuck them. It was. So, I did love Luke and Jessica's reactions to the Hand.
Yes.
Like those provided some very hilarious character moments for me.
Yeah.
Where they're like, Are we actually fighting fucking ninjas right now? And I was like, yeah, you are. Because I think we mentioned that in previous... Because Iron Fist, the Hand has always been... Iron Fist is kind of an innately cartoony, like, out there character. And the Hand is kind of a cartoony, out there villain organization. And so the two of them are kind of peas in a pod. Peas in a pood. Daredevil is a very realistic, very gritty, very down-to-earth sort of hero. And what is his main villain? Ninjas with nunchucks and hatchets and stuff like that. Yeah,
what? But that's not his main villain. It's his main villain in some stories.
Yeah.
And the Kingpin, you can see it in the Netflix series that Daredevil done right is matched up against people like the Kingpin.
Right.
Or characters like Bullseye. Characters who are...
I'm excited. Bullseye is going to be in season 3?
I believe so, yeah. Everything is pointing to yes for that.
I'm so excited for that. Because Bullseye done right, he's terrifying. He's a force to be reckoned with. Somebody that never misses. Somebody that's like, he's the perfect, most critical, precise assassin. Like that, he can literally anything becomes a weapon for him. That could be a really interesting, really cool character, especially if they, like you were talking about, especially if they do his character justice, where he was an FBI agent, right? That lost his mind a little bit.
Not exactly.
Or in some iterations.
It seems like that might be what's going to happen in the Netflix series, but...
Because I do know his origin in the original comics was he was a minor league baseball pitcher who he was so accurate he could put the ball wherever he wanted it to, and he ended up just like one day he's like, I'm just gonna hit this guy in the head, and he beamed this dude in the head with a baseball and killed him, and then he became notorious because he ended up killing like 3 other people after that by aiming at them in the head with the baseball, and throwing it at like about 100 miles an hour, and he got kicked out because he became too much of a liability for the MLB, and then he just started his career as an assassin after that because he could throw anything with like insane precision.
It's a logical jump.
Yes, man, I played baseball. Why not be a contract killer? Never ends.
So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's good. But
it will be. I guarantee it. You'll like the way you look. I guarantee it.
You'll like the way your bitch seltzer tastes. I guarantee it.
I do like the way it tastes.
Sorry.
Stop calling it bitch seltzer. It makes me feel bad. Oh, we used the last of it.
That's why I said sorry a minute ago. I left the case in the fridge, and I knew Tracy was going for another one. So I said sorry, and he was like da 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 da, looking for one, and I just watched him get disappointed and You do have rum, don't you? You drank all the rum?
I drank all the rum. I did. It was really good, and we did a lot of podcasting recently, so I had a lot of opportunity to drink it.
Why, when you were listening and realizing how terrible we sound, you drank away your sorrows?
Yes. I'm sure I'll have a new bottle of rum, and will be drinking away my sorrows after listening to this one.
Yep, probably.
There's no way that this one isn't super cringy. Hey, what am I gonna do with you? Goddamn millennials.
Goddamn millennials.
I had so much fun making our intro.
It was.
I think about that a lot. Whenever we do this, whenever we record, I always think about us making our intro because we have
that was so on the fly too.
We have
I
no
did not
experience.
plan to say that. It just slipped out, and
Neither of us have any experience with sound design, and we just was like, we need to make this sound like a speakeasy. We need to make this sound like a happening bar, and so we're just like, me doing my old lady password, and us inventing a password each week.
yeah,
And then
it's turned into something beautiful.
It has. And it's just us recording us having 3 separate random conversations in the background as like the other patrons of the bar.
They've become very near and dear friends.
And it really was just completely random that the one happened to end with goddamn millennials.
It finishes after everything else in the perfect moment. You hear it every time.
It does. We did not plan that. We recorded all 3 of them, and then we played them simultaneously, and then that just happened to be the one that ended with the goddamn millennials.
So usually that's exactly what you hear before I introduce our
stroke of accidental genius. Maybe just a stroke.
Yeah, I don't know. An accidental stroke of something. We'll leave it up to you whether it's genius or nonsense.
Yeah, maybe this very episode is genius, or maybe it's nonsense. Maybe it's a little bit of both. One thing I sure know is that it sure is us talking. Tried to think of a funny joke, didn't pull it off. You're welcome.
Pulled myself off earlier though.
No, that was my line. I'm the one.
No, your line was you pulled me off earlier.
Yeah, I'm the one that's overtly sexual in this relationship. You dingus. And now we have Akira, who's desperate for attention. Kira! Meow. What are you doing? How much of this do you think we're going to have to edit if we even post this at all?
This is going up.
As it is?
You know, it might not be one of our weekly episodes. Like, it might not be worth you know...
A weekly release.
This week at the Yancy St Speakeasy, this is like...
Might be
this is some nonsense we said.
This might be a Wednesday release. And this one is not going to have a title. It's just, this is going to be Brain Dump Part 3. Or Brain Dump 3, the dumpening.
Please write us at maxine.org.org if that's been overused.
It's maxine.org at maxine.org. .org at maxine.org. Arg. Arg. maxine.org. It's, yeah.
Okay, so...
We're going to plug ourselves real quick.
Done.
Anyway, so...
Thoroughly plugged.
So the Defenders is... no. If you guys are at all interested at any of our...
Don't know why you would be, but...
Yeah, but after this amazing, this sterling display of talent, If you guys are at all interested in anything we do, anything we say, anything we create, we are in the process of. And if you think we're good now, wait till you see what we produce when we actually take a fucking second to think about what we're gonna say. We're in the process of working on a graphic novel. If you guys are new to the show,
It's not a graphic novel, Tracy.
it's a comic book.
Stop lying.
It's a graphic novella. It's
It's a serialized graphic novella.
it's a single image. It's literally just a single image.
Released once per year.
Once per year.
It's so meta, it's going to take you a lifetime
one panel
to get through one page.
one panel a year. We're working on several artistic projects together. One of them is including a very cool
Several autistic projects and stuff.
So you can't say that this episode because we have no context this episode. So now,
Well, give the people some context,
so
Tracy.
now it seems like
I set you up.
Now it just seems like we're making fun of people who are mentally challenged.
Well, now tell them why we're not.
Last episode, in the middle of one of the episodes, I had a friend from backwoods Pennsylvania, where I grew up.
Friend in quotation marks.
Friend in quotation marks. I sent out a Snapchat of me working on some fun art projects, and I sent him a picture of one of the things I had drawn, and he replied with, "Oh, are you still being all autistic with that art and shit?" And I was like, "What?" And so, yeah, best friend.
You still being all douchey with that prick up your fucking asshole?
Nice. It was solid. High five.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Another excellent high five for another excellent joke.
It was a brilliant comeback.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
So sassy.
So sassy. So I am being all autistic with my art and stuff. I'm still doing it. Still posting it. It's all over the place. Spilled on the floor just now. Oh shit! There's so much art everywhere. I was gonna drink it later with some nutmeg. It's I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about? I am doing lots of arts. Lots of commissions right now, which is really cool. I'm actually finally getting paid for my art, which I never thought would happen.
I still don't pay him.
No. Well, because whatever. So I
remind him that it's not worth being paid for. I say, do this for me, but it's not worth paying. So
I am performing. I am doing commissions. I am charging money for my art now. I am working. I have a pay scale figured out for how much I want to get paid for different things. It was just very weird for me. I've never actually asked anybody to pay for me, and it took me a really long time to figure it out because I was always felt awkward about asking people to pay me for my art.
That's why he failed as a prostitute, because he would stand on the street corner and then he'd do his job, and then he would just feel too ashamed to ask for money. So
how much for a handy? And I would be like, how much do you want to pay? Is this good? How much is this worth to you? And that is very accurate how I feel when people list price. They're like, would you? This is my eternal struggle. Is people would be like, I'll give you $20 for that, and for that piece of art that you made, and I'm like, yeah, for sure. Here, have it. And then I'll tell a friend about it later, and they're like, "Oh, you sold that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I sold that." I was like, "How much did you get for it?" I was like, $20. And they're like, "What? You're an idiot." I would have charged them $60. I would have charged them $100 for that one. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it took me a really long time. You gotta. If you don't value yourself...
If you don't value your own butthole, then your Johns won't either.
If you don't value yourself or your work, then nobody else will.
I just made myself laugh really hard.
Usually I'm the one that cracks myself up, but you're... Drink it in, folks. This is probably the few times you see Max get to crack himself up. But yeah, so just long story short, I never knew what to charge for my shit. I don't know. I just I sort of have a payment scale now. So payment scale is $35 for a sketch, plus an additional $15 for any other figures that you want to add to it. Backgrounds are negotiable because I'm very bad at backgrounds, so they're going to charge.
He's not bad at them. He just doesn't
I'm
like
new
them.
I'm new at them, and I'm not a huge fan of them. So depending on
the way that he draws, he can draw anything. So don't let him fool you. Don't let him convince you that it's so hard. He just doesn't want to do it.
It's not as fun, and it's not as fun, and I'm not experienced. I'm a figure drawer. I like drawing people. I like drawing animals. I like drawing things in motion. I love Bob as much as I love Bob Ross. Drawing them happy little mountains and them
Happy little trees,
secret little clouds, whatever. Never been as much into that. Definitely not in my black and white medium. So I typically charge about $35 for a straight up sketch, plus an additional $15 for any other figures that you add to that, and then backgrounds are negotiable depending on how complex you want it. And then for full color, or touch ups with like ink, like fine really touching up the lines and stuff like that. I charge about $60.
$60 if you want it to look good, folks.
Yeah, $60 if you want it to look real good. if you wanted to look polished, I like to think that my sketches look pretty good.
They do.
When I polish them up, they look even nicer. It's a preference thing. I like people. I actually adore people's rough sketches. Like when I see somebody's doing art, I like to see when artists like show the process, like they show the different steps. Like this is what it looked like when it was just a concept. This is what it looked like when it was a sketch. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like seeing where people kind of like put the mistake lines and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting. I like getting that insight into other artists' processes. That's just me though. Enough about me. Instagram Viva La Frank with a 3, and then Max at maxteen.org. Maxteen.org. Yeah.
So if you would like to investigate a little bit about our more generalized creative endeavors, then check out maxteen.org. It's named after me, but it entails everything that we both do. You can find all kinds of original artwork by Tracey LaFrance. Some are original characters developed by me. Some are original characters developed by Tracey. Some are characters that are
made in collaboration with the two of us.
Some are Marvel characters, DC characters. Some are... So you can find all kinds of art by Tracey. You can find all of our podcasts, the Yancy St Speakeasy.
Yeah.
You can find some soon-to-be promos. I'm working on one right now, actually.
Yeah. For
our coming comic book series. Actually, just to tell you guys a little bit about that, in my own words, it's... What we are working on is a comic book universe that we're going to release at least 3, perhaps 4 different series, all in universe. All the characters have their own storylines, but they all exist in the same universe. Mm-hmm. And
all of them will eventually interact with each other. Like they're not just like floating off on their own. They
all will eventually have an orgy.
You didn't tell me that when I signed up to do the art.
I thought it was implied. I mean,
well, folks, visit maxteen.org at maxteen.org if you want to see what a Tracey LaFrance illustrated orgy looks like.
But no, in all seriousness, it's... I've spent a lot of time developing the characters and storylines. I'm really excited about it. I'm pretty proud. When I told Tracey, he jizzed in his pants, so obviously he's pretty excited as well.
It's still there.
It is. He put the pants. He laminated them so that
I never
we'll
claimed
always
them.
remember
I want
them.
it. Yeah, I want it as a reminder of my committance.
But so we'll give you some more updates on that. The promos will be coming out soon. You'll be able to see some logos, and you'll even start to hear about some titles for the different series.
You might. They're in the works.
I just told them they will, and you told them they might.
They might.
If you contradict me on this podcast again, I'm finding a new partner.
So I'm just out.
Careful, or you will be.
I'm gonna start this podcast over.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna.
Hey, folks! Welcome to the Yancy St.
I'm
Speakeasy.
gonna find a new partner.
I'm Max.
I'm gonna call him Tracey.
And this episode, we're gonna talk about fuck you.
Yep. It's the new topic of conversation.
Start it over. You know, I actually didn't get your permission to start it over. Do I have your permission to start the podcast over?
No.
Hey, folks! Welcome to the Yancy St. Speakeasy. I'm Max.